Thanks, Maxine. Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Happy Sunday. It's a great day. It's been a great week, great past couple of months, great year, and I anticipate it being even greater as we move forward. I hope you guys are feeling the same. And it's not merely or simply positive thinking. When you're able to live in such a way that you can kind of see the trajectory of where things are going, when you have somewhat of a plan for your life, it isn't random and chaotic and left up to the wilderness. I mean, sure, plans aren't always perfect, but when you have a trajectory, when you have goals, when you have a direction to move in, things become more manageable. And when things are manageable, you're able to scale the results, right? So if you've got no plan for your life, no goals, you don't know what the hell's going on, you're just out here living and hoping and praying, yeah, things can be chaotic and crazy and scary at times, right? You don't know if you're going to catch some strange virus. You don't know if you should invest in this new opportunity that's going to crash. You don't know what to do. But when you have a trajectory, it doesn't matter what happens because you've got a direction. And no matter what goes on outside in your peripheral vision or in the world or whatever, as long as you stay on course in your direction, you become unshakable. And when you're unshakable, you can call the shots in your life. So you can wake up every day and say, this is a wonderful life. This is a wonderful day. This is a wonderful week, month, year. You can say that when you have things, when you have your mindset to where things are more manageable and under your control, right? Obviously, you can't control every second of the day and every little event. You can't control. That's not realistic. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the mindset. You can control how you react to the world. You can control how you react to what's going on. And if you project your direction far enough ahead, you can calibrate no matter what's going on, right? And also, if if you project further into the future and you have somewhat of a direction, you're not going to be so thrown off when things don't go exactly as you plan. Say, for example, one of your goals is to hit $1 million of income, right? You absolutely cannot do that if you got your mind set on just one thing, right? You literally have to be open enough to try different options. You also have to give yourself a realistic time frame. Yes, it's absolutely possible to hit $1 million today with the help of the internet. And I'm not talking about gambling. I'm not talking about doggy coin or none of that stuff. There are business structures that you can set up for yourself. It's not unrealistic. You just have to be willing to put forth the effort and the study and be able to fail, right? Be able to risk and try and fail. I don't mean investing a bunch of money and losing it. I mean being able to try something new, right? So if one of your goals is to hit a certain income bracket, like myself, what I've learned is you've got to be willing to try new things, right? And you also have to be open to fail. Because what I know from us as Americans, and I'm sure it goes for everybody around the world, the school system that we have been pushed through, it makes us afraid to try and fail because we want to be right. We want to get the right grade because we'll be punished if we make a mistake. So we're conditioned, we're brainwashed into being afraid to fail. But you got to break that. Most people don't take risks. We don't take risks. And I don't mean like risky behavior and doing something crazy. I mean, literally stepping outside of your comfort zone and trying something new. Now, of course, the more research and preparation you do before that reduces the negative consequence of a risk. But at the end of the day, you got to step outside of your comfort zone to do something new. So, greetings to everyone here. Greetings. Greetings, Amar. Peace, bro. Greetings, Naturally Natured. Greetings, Zazier Shaffer Bay. Greetings, Gemma Thorne. Good to see you. Al Dickey. Peace, bro. Alora Cohen. Good afternoon. Yes, yes, y'all. And you don't stop. Life is wonderful, guys. It's wonderful. There is such an amazing opportunity right now. You can literally do whatever you want, right? Let the rest of these people complain. Let them complain. Let them be negative Nancy's and focus on the terrible. Because what I've learned is literally what you focus on expands, right? Your attention is the most valuable commodity. I've been said this. I've been said this. Your attention is the most precious commodity in the universe. I said this a long ass time ago. And it's not just, it's not, I didn't come up with this. This is reality. Your attention is the most precious commodity in the universe. So please, by all means, make sure you're investing your attention into something that's going to return to you, that's going to give you something to expand in the direction that you want to go, right? Don't invest your attention in the news and all this other stuff that only serves to dissipate your focus, because that's what it does. It scatters your focus. Step number one is to visualize and have a clear picture of where you want to be. Clear picture, right? Get as clear as you can. And I'm talking about all five senses. This is nothing new. I've been saying this. I've been saying this, but I know how it is. Repetition is what makes it stick. I understand that. What's good, Lahiri? I see you. You got to have a clear vision of what you want. Anyone who's ever achieved something first had a vision for it. This is basic level stuff. This is the Yod Hey Val Hey formula, right? Ophiel showed us this in his books. The Unfortunate showed us this in Mystical Kabbalah. All of the Nanandanandas have showed us this in these yoga books. Clear vision first. You can't skip that. If you don't have a clear vision, the Bible says, my people perish without the lack of a vision. Without a clear vision, you literally don't know where you're going. So step one is to have that vision, visualize with how it looks, how it sounds, how it feels, how it smells, how it tastes. Get that all figured out and repeat that moment every single day. What I do is I go out onto the balcony, right? As soon as I wake up, make my coffee. What I've been doing for this the 6-week challenge is I go out there with my coffee and I visualize it, right? I see myself where I am 2, maybe 3 years from now, right? I've passed the $1 million mark, right? I see my home. I see what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I see the type of food that I'm eating. I see the type of people that I'm around. I see the type of activities that I'm going to be engaged in. I see all that stuff. And I just sit there and I revel in it for a moment. And I know that it's not just wishful thinking and, oh, wouldn't it be cool if? I know that this is the direction that I'm headed, right? Now, after I spend some time in that moment, what I found is that that energizes me to tackle what I have planned for the day. That energizes me to go forward and invest 8 hours into study, right? Whether I'm learning from these training tutorial videos, whether I'm digging deep into a book, or whether I'm creating content or structuring out my plan for the rest of the year or 2 or 3. Reveling in that vision of the future gives me the energy to push towards it, right? So no matter what happens to the market, what happens in America, what happens in anywhere else, I have the trajectory of where I'm going. And whatever happens, I just calibrate and adjust, right? And my method of getting there is not based on some brittle, fragile tricks, right? It's based on tried and true strategy, right? Things that don't change. You know what doesn't change? Human nature. The way that the mind of the masses work, that will never change. So it behooves you to study how the human mind operates. First and foremost, your own mind, right? There is a web that we're stuck in. And I'm not just talking about the internet web, right? There's a web of conditioning that has been pre-installed on everybody's operating system, right? And we're taught to be a part of this web. We wake up and we give our energy to the web. We give our time to this web for a itty bitty, tiny, small payout. And we repeat this and we suffer, right? We've got trauma. Amar posted a awesome story on his Instagram today. It was a clip of Sadhguru talking. Most people aren't suffering through life. They're suffering through their imagination and their memories. They're suffering through what ifs. They're suffering through what happened to me 10 years ago. They're replaying all this negative emotion and loop, and all this stuff is just running and running and running. That's what most people are suffering through, right? And not to belittle anybody's pain, because a lot of you have been through some things that I can't even imagine, right? But where we are is right here, right now. What can you do today? And where are you headed? That's an important question to ask. Greetings, boy. Greetings, Christopher Lee. Yeah. So look, this whole 6 week challenge is, it's more than just, oh, let me take a break because we've been on live for hours and hours and hours. It's more than that, right? If you have followed me for any length of time, you know that I buy tons of books, right? So this really was an opportunity for me to sit down and read these books. And not only that, but to really help me kind of just structure where I want to take this whole thing for the coming years. Now, it's not just about me. For you, this focus challenge hopefully is helping you to gather a sense of confidence and accomplishment, right? Even still, I get a certain confidence when I finish a book. It feels good. It feels good to sit down and say, yeah, I read that. I finished it. I completed it. All 100 pages, all 200 pages, all 400 pages. It feels good. It instills a sense of confidence, a confidence in my ability to finish something, right? I know how that feels. So, if nothing else, I want you to see that as well. There's structured ways to get these things done. You don't have to just flounder about. If you've watched the first video that I did with this focus challenge, you'll see that there's a Pomodoro technique. That's one of many techniques that you can use, but it gives you a framework to operate within. You got to have a system to get repeated, consistent results. Right now, the Pomodoro technique is a system. It's a framework to get these results. And God damn, so many people have messaged me with their success, right? We've got people who have finished 2, 3, 4, 5 books by now, right? And I know they have, because some of these books are books that I've already read. So we can have a conversation about these books because I see and I know that they've read them already. People are having results. I try posting some of these things on my stories just to kind of give, whoever's watching confidence and inspiration to continue. But this is real. This works. And this is what I use to get so much done, right? So hopefully, also, besides confidence and in your ability to finish things, also this is to give you some energy to push past your patterns of limitation, right? Phone call, I cannot answer that right now. Obviously, I'm on live. But yeah, to push past your patterns of limitation, because like I said earlier, a lot of us are suffering through our minds. We're not suffering through life. A lot of people complain about racism, but they don't experience it in their day-to-day lives. A lot of people complain about what the government's doing or what this person, that person's doing, but they're not going through that. What they're actually going through is their memories and their thoughts. Woman, I cannot talk right now. They're suffering through these thoughts, right? So, in having a system to actually finish a book, and having a system of constructing your goals, right? And having these systems and frameworks to work within, you're starting to develop new patterns, right? And these new patterns are what takes you out of patterns of limitations. I was talking with a friend on Messenger a few days ago, right? And he's wanting to, start the YouTube thing and start teaching on what he's gathered so far. But one of the things he said was, I kind of feel, what do they call it? Imposter syndrome, right? If you have imposter syndrome, that's a sign that you're not an imposter, first of all. But he's said that he's having imposter syndrome, in lack of better words, because he wants to teach about all the spiritual stuff, but he said, I can't astral project on command. And I said, well, what gives you the impression that you're supposed to be able to astral project on command? And he says, well, I've been studying this stuff for years now, and I still can't do that. And my response to him was, so in your mind, years invested equates proficiency directly. Is that correct? And he said, yeah. You would assume that, assume, right? He said that you would assume that the more time you spend in something, the better you get. So, I one of the things that my uncle told me that stuck with me from the first time he said it was, practice makes perfect is a lie. It's erroneous. The truth is, perfect practice makes perfect, right? So if you've never played basketball in your life and you go out to the court and you grab a ball and there's no one there to teach you or train you, you just start throwing it at the goal, it's going to take you a very long time to start to develop a technique and a strategy and a game plan to get results consistently, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're just throwing a ball at a hoop. You don't know the mechanics. You don't know plays. You don't know any of that stuff. But if you spend some time with an expert, right? If you spend some time with somebody who does it every single day, with someone who has been through the training, who knows it like the back of their hand, who knows how to play better than they know how to go to sleep at night, if you spend just a little bit of time with that person, it's going to amplify your game 10 times, tenfold, right? So it isn't time invested that makes you perfect or proficient at something. It's time invested in the right direction. This is why it's so important to have a mentor or to learn from somebody who's done it already, right? So anything that I'm studying right now, I I've given up trying to figure it out on my own. I've given that shit up, right? Before this year, I used to waste so much time trying to wing it and figure it out on my own. I've learned that if you just go to somebody who's done it already and knows what they're doing, even if it costs a little bit of money, I've learned that it will take me from being a complete novice to having so much more proficiency that I could have possibly learned on my own. That saves time, right? A little bit of money spent, that's going to come back. You get money every 2 weeks, or, some of y'all every day, who knows what you do, but money goes and it comes back. But that time does not come back. I've saved so much time learning from experts in the things that I'm studying currently. So, aside from the Pomodoro technique, aside from finding the center of power, aside from doing self hypnosis for focus, learning the right stuff, right? Learning the right stuff from people who have done it already takes you so much further. So, it all comes back to having a vision of the future and where you want to be. You've got to know that first. Then, when you see where you want to be, part of this focus challenge was to figure out two long-term goals and to backtrack, right? To go from that vision and go one step back. What has to happen directly before that, right? Then visualize that. What skills do I have to acquire? What data do I have to learn? What do I have to know before I get there, right? Then backtrack just before that. And you keep going until you get to your present day. And you should have a list of skills, knowledge, what type of resources do you need to have before you get there. Now that you know exactly what to do and where to go, all that takes is, at this point, is investing the effort into doing it, right? So when I said that making $1 million in a year is not an impossible dream, it's not. If you've learned from people who've already done it multiple times and who have seen pitfalls and avoided those pitfalls that you don't have to waste time going through, right? Knowledge, data, this is out there. Nothing is hidden anymore. Nothing is hidden anymore. In this information age, nothing stops you other than you, period. I've seen it. I've seen it for myself, right? And I've helped other people see it. Other people have helped me see it. The only thing stopping you is you. Self-limitation, patterns of self-limitations, right? And something as little as coming up with a plan to read and finish a book can help you push past those self-limitations. All right. So when I talk about not neglecting this part of the focus challenge, what I'm talking about specifically is being sure that you're taking a break, right? Because if you're anything like me, you want to just keep pushing, 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 pushing. But what you'll find is if you do that for too long, you will face a burnout. And that burnout has a very high likelihood of making you quit. making you want to quit, I'll say, because nothing makes you do anything, you decide. But if you push too hard for too long without stopping and taking a breath, it's going to wear you out. So when I talk about not neglecting this part of the focus challenge, what I'm talking about is recognizing when your body needs to take a breather, when your mind needs to take a breather, because the mind is a muscle and thought process takes energy. So this is the important part of this video that I'm talking about right now. If you're starting to feel that stress and that wear and tear, and it may even manifest in the form of confusion, right? It may manifest in the form of mental fatigue, right? It may manifest in all kind of ways, but pay attention to yourself. That's what I tell my son every day. Pay attention to yourself. When you start to feel that burnout, it don't feel guilty for taking a break. Take a full day, right? Take a couple of days. I do the same thing. Sometimes I can just tell when my brain is starting to get to that point where it's like, okay, I need to take a break. Sit down and play some Candy Crush, some Fortnite, sit down and do something else that is not work related. Right? It's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about it. Take a break and make sure you are drinking plenty of water because that's important too. You're you still have to feed the body. I know that we're these magnificent spiritual beings from the 12th dimension, cosmic wizards, half unicorn, half spider, and all that. I know, but we're still using this human vessel, and the human vessel requires certain things like water and rest and food. Take the time to take a break. It's okay. It's okay. You've been going hard. You've been accomplishing stuff that you haven't thought you'd be able to do so quickly. Take a break. It's cool. It's fine. Don't feel guilty about it. It's necessary. It's necessary. With that being said, I hope you're keeping up with your meditation and your mantras. And if you haven't, no judgment. It happens. We're human beings, right? But part of taking a break and taking the breather, I would recommend going back into that meditation that we've learned, going back into the mantras that we've learned. Go back into those things and pick them back up. Pick up the routine again, right? If you haven't meditated in a couple of weeks, if you haven't done your mantras in a couple of weeks, start again. It starts with one. And if you've been doing it with us, what you'll notice is that that refreshment will come back. When you sit down and you do the Kaya Stratham and the chakra shuddhi and you cleanse the chakras, you'll start to feel that refreshment, that peace of mind, right? All the mental fatigue that's going on and making you feel tired and worn out, you can start to alleviate that with meditation. So if you've already finished Taught with Shuddhi, do that, right? If you've gone through the first couple of chapters of Dharana Darshan, do those meditations, right? If you've found a couple of mantras on YouTube that you like, sit down and do the 108, right? I didn't do mine today, so that's why I'm not wearing my Rudrakasha necklace, right? I only wear it when I do my meditation. Never just wear it for show. But anyways, it's okay to take a break. It really is. You have to, right? You have to if you want to operate at maximum capacity. Oh my goodness. Concentration. Concentration. So yeah, if you are feeling that burnout, please take a break. Because if you don't, what's gonna happen is you're gonna force yourself to take a break. And that is going to break the momentum and you're going to start to develop a new momentum and falling back into those old patterns and habits that we've been trying to break with these 6 weeks. So invest in a day or two of a break, but get back on it, jump back on it, right? Because if you stay in that break for too long, it'll all fall apart. You'll be back where you started, and that sucks. Yes, yes. Speaking of Tot with Shooty, we're getting closer to the next book study, which will begin May the 30th, which happens to be the last day of this month, which happens to fall on a Sunday. That's when we'll start the book study. That's when we will resume and pick up where we left off. Taught with Shooty is the book. I put it up here every week, all the time, and I'm going to be posting it a lot more because I really don't want you guys to miss out. This book is incredible. The information inside of it is incredible, right? It's not a sweet story to read. It is a breakdown of the energy that exists in the universe, right? I got more out of this than I got out of the mystical Kabbalah, and this is only a fraction of the length. Every page is filled with useful, clear, concise data about, like I said, the energies of the universe and how they work within you and outside of you, and how you can balance and purify yourself from within. It's literally titled The Tantric Practice of Inner Purification, right? I haven't seen a technique that has worked better than this for me. So go ahead and grab this book. We're going to start the book study group on May the 30th, which is the last day of this year, right? Keep in mind also, it's not going to be public like the previous ones. So join the YouTube membership. I'd love to have you taking part in the discussion, right? So read the book. We can talk about it. That's the best way that I've seen to really dig into these books and get the most information out of them is through discussion, right? When we sit down and we have these talks, I learned things that I didn't pick up, right? Because each one of us is going to see it differently. Each one of us is going to see it from a different angle, a different slice. We're going to have different experiences to compare it to in our lives. When we put that all together, this is what makes a mastermind group so powerful, because it's not just your thought process. You're attacking a problem from different angles and you get thorough understanding. I love it. I love it. Greetings, RMF. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Um, RMF, you said, where did you leave off? What do you mean? So, yeah, the focus challenge is designed to set you up with a pattern of consistency, right? A pattern of actually reading, of studying, a pattern of overcoming your self imposed limitations, right? Because sometimes when you have a task or a challenge, it gives you just that little bit of incentive that you need to push forward, to push further than where you've gone, right? Um, but yeah, the confidence in yourself to actually accomplish a task like reading these books, it may seem small, but it's very symbolic to the subconscious mind, right? And once you do it a little bit, you can do it again. And that effect begins to compound. I'm speaking from experience here, right? That confidence and that pride from finishing a book, you'll only want to do it more, right? So, like I said, I buy books every week and they start to pile up. If you guys are anything like me, you're probably in the same scenario. So this focus challenge helps to set up somewhat of a routine to start to dig through those books. And it isn't just about reading them. It's also about retaining the information. A lot of people have been asking me lately, what's how do you retain this information better? Because sometimes you read and it just kind of doesn't stick. Well, the most important thing about retaining the info that you read is just like what we've been learning with this meditation and this yoga practice, being present, right? Being in a state of awareness in the moment. Read the book, actually be there reading the book. Don't just, glaze through the words. Because, I've been there too, where we have this tendency to just kind of glaze through the words and then say, oh, yeah, I don't remember a damn thing that was on the page. You got to be aware in the moment and be present, right? Digesting every word. And what helps is the more focus and energy you put on the words, and I don't mean like staring at it hard. When I say the more focus that you put on these words in these books, is you're engaging it with more of your mind. So as you read, have mental pictures going on, have a movie going on in your head, see the scenario playing out, put yourself in the story. This is how I retain this information. I put myself in the books. Sometimes I might pretend like the author is teaching me directly, so we're sitting there face to face and they're teaching me directly, with mystical shit going on in the background. Like, you want to be aware and you want to be engaged in the study. This is the best way to retain the information, right? Another way to add to that, right? Because I like to compound different tips and techniques. If you haven't noticed, I like to put a bunch of stuff together. Location, right? Because learning is state dependent, and I study in the same spot. And what I found is, whenever I sit down at my table to study, my mind instantly goes into focus and study mode, right? And when I think back to what I've learned or what I read or what I studied, I think back to being in that spot at the table, right? And it helps to trigger memories of what I read, right? It might help to have some type of cue on the desk with you. Like I said, I like to use my little spider here when I go into my little self hypnosis, and that helps to trigger memories for me as well. I sometimes have my unicorn pins or just different things, and I've got my unicorn pins in like every different color. So not for every single book, but every now and then I'll use a different pin, and that also helps me to trigger different memories. I also do things like I walk around in circles when I read. I walk around the table. That also helps, right? Learning is state dependent. So depending on what state you're in, this is going to compartmentalize what you've learned. So again, it's all about being aware, being present, being in the moment, being there when you're reading it. Don't just skim through the words. Engage the material. Put yourself in it if you have to. Pretend that the author's talking to you if you have to. Do whatever you can to engage more parts of your mind. Right? This is how you retain the information better. I hope that helps. Um, Try the stuff for yourself. Like don't just take my word for it. Like today, right after this video, go back to your reading and try this out. Try to be as engaged as possible. And what you'll find is that the more that you use your memory, the more that you use that short-term memory, the more it expands. So it's not like your memory is limited. It may seem limited now because you don't use it. We rely on our on Google and our phones to remember stuff for us. Back in my day, we used to have all the telephone numbers memorized, but you don't have to do that anymore. But you'll find that the more that you use your memory, it expands. The more that you use your memory, the more memory you have to use. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. The more that you exercise that muscle of memorization, it builds a larger capacity. And I think this is one of the reasons why studying the Vedic information naturally makes you smarter, because the Vedic information, it puts you into a state of awareness. So since you're in a state of awareness while studying, you absorb more of the material, right? So awareness is extremely key. Awareness and being aware of your body when it needs a break. Be aware of that and don't feel guilty for taking a break. I keep saying that because that's one of the things that I sometimes struggle with is feeling guilty when I need to stop or take a break. You know, I don't want to. I want to just keep going forever. But understand, we are inhabiting a human vessel, and this human vessel needs to take a break. Just like when you go to work, you know, they have to give you a lunch break and 2 15-minute breaks because it's human nature. The body needs to, and the mind needs to stop and take a breather every now and then. So don't neglect that part. If you neglect that part, it will kind of collapse the whole structure, right? Taking a break is important. It's important. And drink some water with your coffee. What's going on, Mystic Moons? Greetings, greetings. Oh, Laura, your work doesn't allow 15-minute breaks mandatory? You might want to, I don't know, talk to somebody about that. I thought it was by law. Then again, maybe it's just state law. Maybe it's just Georgia. I could be wrong. Mystic Moon says, not going to lie, I have found the challenge hard due to social distractions, such as my phone going off, social media. Didn't think it was that bad until I started this challenge. Yeah, it's true. And that's another thing. Um, Doing something like this with this focus challenge really helps to put other things in perspective. Like sometimes we don't realize how much social media and technology distracts us from what we really want to do because we're so used to it. It's a habit pattern, right? And so ingrained and built into our daily lives that we don't consider that there may be negative implications of this constant dopamine rush that our phones provide us. When I study, I got to put the phone in a different room or I go plug it up to the speaker so it's playing music and I'm not, touching it. But you got to establish boundaries, right? And that haven't gotten into shadow work yet. I'd love to really get into shadow work, but I can only do so much at one time. But even with shadow work, A lot of us had issues going on when we were children, and that really hurt us as far as establishing boundaries. We allow certain things or certain people to kind of walk all over us, or to walk further than they really should. And that extends to things like social media. We don't establish clear boundaries for it. So that might be something that I'd really recommend for you to do, is to really establish boundaries for your phone usage, right? Put limitations on yourself to be your own parent sometimes. Like I said, I got to leave the phone downstairs or plugged up somewhere else so that I can have a dedicated moment to study, right? Or you can use it as a reward. I play Fortnite every night, but I don't play it unless I've already invested time in my work, right? So I use it as a reward. If I get on, so I've ingrained a habit in myself to where if I do get on without doing work, I just can't do it. I feel too guilty. I got to stop and do some studying before I get on. Maybe you can do something like that with your phone to set up a reward system, because you got to think, we are basic creatures. We run from pain and run towards pleasure. That's the binary operating system. Nobody is exempt from that. Nobody is strong enough to withstand that unless you're out there in the Himalayas like Swami Satchisangananda. So use it to your advantage. Use the reward and punishment system to your advantage. One really cool thing that somebody I knew did was money, with working out. He would tape a $50 bill to his door, and he told his roommate, every morning, I'm going to wake up at 7 and go to the gym. If I don't wake up and go to the gym, you take this $50 off my door. That motivated him, right? Because the pain of losing that money was enough to be consistent. And he knew his roommate was watching, right? So he would tape that $50 to the door, and he'd wake up every morning at 7 a.m. and hit the gym. So you might need to do something like that, right? So that's two things. Number one, setting up a pain or a pleasure system, and also having accountability. Having another person know what you're trying to do, even that helps to motivate you, because another one of our triggers that we can't resist as human beings is having a good image in someone's eyes. Even if it's really small, we don't want someone who thinks highly of us to think negatively of us. It's a powerful primal technique. So this is why accountability is so good. Find somebody and tell them, hey, I am doing a focus challenge. I know it sounds kind of weird and nerdy, but I'm trying to get these books read. I'm going to be reading 2 hours a day at this time. If I'm not doing it, then whatever punishment. You know, Having an accountability partner helps a lot, right? Not just because it sounds cool, but like I said, it hits primal triggers. We don't want to lose status in someone else's eyes. Status is a very powerful motivator. Everything that we do and decide to do has to do with status. You stay, especially y'all females, you stay away from things that are that appear to take away from your status, and you gravitate towards things that appear to increase your status. Why the fuck are you reading these books? Why are you meditating? Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you go vegan? Why do you want to get a fit, healthy body? Right? Why do you want money? Why do you want a better job? Why do you want the things you want? Sure, you have a logical reason for it, but there are primal reasons. And most of them have to do with status, elevating status and avoiding the decrease of status. Status is an extremely powerful motivator, right? No one's exempt from these things, no matter how evolved and sophisticated you think you are. There are certain primal triggers that every human being is susceptible to. And I believe that understanding those primal triggers are key to evolving the self. Because, for one, the more that you're able to detach from them, the more control you have over yourself. But number two, you begin to understand how the world operates. There are no enemies, there are no people out to get you, right? And I say that and I mean that, not because I'm naive, but because I can identify with everyone, because everyone has the same basic primal operating system. Nobody's exempt. I don't care what culture, what race, what gender. We're all running from pleasure, running towards pleasure, and running from pain. We're all seeking to increase our status. We're all seeking to, you know, uh, achieve safety and comfort. And we're all doing what we think is the best way to ease and relieve suffering. That's everybody's agenda. Now they may go about it differently than you or this person or that person, but if you understand that's how everyone operates, you can't be mad at people. That's like being mad at a dog because it shat or pissed on the carpet. It's gonna do that. So yeah, key to understanding yourself and understanding the world around you. Mystic Moon says 100% there's an issue with boundaries. Also that feeling of missing out and escapism. That's another one. Listen, y'all, FOMO, try your best to resist FOMO, fear of missing out. Try your best to resist that because it's not real. This is a world of abundance, y'all. Everything that you need is here. Everything that you want is available. You got to break that conditioning of scarcity. It was ingrained into you as a child, whether it was from the school system or from your family. Scarcity is not real, it's imaginary. But the more that you focus on it and believe in it, the more it expands. And if you're currently in a space of scarcity, then maybe it's time to look for the abundance that exists within and around you, and then learn how to maximize that abundance. The path is there. The path is always there, right? You just got to figure out how to get to it. All your limitations are in your mind. You might say, oh, well, easy for you to say, you don't have to go to work, da, da, da. But I did at one point, and I found a way to maneuver and get around it, just like you can, just like anybody can. There are more than one way. There is more than one way. There are multiple ways. You don't have to do tarot readings on Facebook. There are so many different ways. You would not believe how to make money independently of somebody's job if you want to break free of that. There are so many different ways, and it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to sell the next greatest invention, right? You can make a lot of money selling some basic shit. Trust me. You can make a lot of money selling some basic ass shit, right? We'll get to that in the future. Hopefully, I really want to talk about entrepreneurship stuff because I've been learning so much about that and having so many successes with that. But just know that abundance is there. You just got to know where to find it. Just like what I mentioned with the basketball player. If you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know. But when you get into contact with somebody who does know, oh man, the possibilities are endless. Because now all you got to do is ask questions. All you have to do is ask, hey, what am I missing? And the expert can show you what you're missing. And that saves you time. The money that you might have invested in a mentor, you're going to get that back because you have to go to work, right? And if you go to work, you get paid. You're going to get your money back eventually. But that time that you save, that's what the real value is. That mentor, he's already gone through and invested the time. He's already done it. He's already spent the years of trial and error. That's what you're paying for, those years of trial and error. So if there's something that you want to learn how to do, look for somebody who's done it already. I'm telling y'all, this is the shortcut. Not a shortcut as in, oh, I'm going to get rich quick, but a shortcut as in you don't have to waste time making mistakes, right? There's an expert for everything you're trying to do. And I don't just mean somebody pops up on a YouTube video and says, I'm an expert. Look at their background, look at their track record, look at their results, look and see if they've already helped somebody, right? But let me get back. I didn't finish reading your comment, Mystic Moons. You said there's an issue with boundaries, also that feeling of missing out and escapism. That's another one. This challenge is putting a lot in perspective for me. Earth energy imbalance. Absolutely. And I am happy and grateful that you're able to see that for yourself, right? Because there's a lot of shit I can talk about, but when you see for yourself, that's when it's real. And that's when you know what you need to do to calibrate. Calibration is a powerful thing, also. When it comes to spiritual evolution, when it comes to self evolution and becoming a better person, a stronger person, a smarter person, you got to learn how to calibrate, right? Nothing helps get you there faster than calibration. Funny story. I remember when an ex-girlfriend of mine, we were in those last days of breaking up and everything. And I was trying everything I could to keep the relationship together. I was watching all these videos on how to save your relationship and all that shit like that. And I was in this hyper focused mode of calibration, right? So I would be listening very intently to everything that she would say or do. And I would adjust my assumptions based on what she said or did. And I would be trying to quickly in the moment calibrate because I wanted to give the best response and make the best scenario. It didn't work out. But what I learned was If I can put myself in this focused state of constant calibration, that keeps me out of being in assumption mode. That keeps me out of just floating along and just doing whatever. When you're aware, when you're acutely aware of what's going on in your life, you're able to calibrate quickly. And if you're able to calibrate quickly, that saves you time and saves you from making errors. Yeah. Jeez Louise. Boy, oh boy. What's good, Godflow93? Been a minute, bro. I ain't seen you in a minute. Mystic Moon says, so true. I'm using this challenge to complete a tech startup I didn't finish. Almost completed the site. Super excited. Yes. Finished is better than perfect. That's another thing. What's good, Grace? Hurt Blessings TV. You mean boyfriend? I don't understand what that means. Awaken Grace says it's just finding the right mentor. Yeah, yeah. And like I said in the beginning, it starts with understanding where you want to go. And when you understand where you want to go, when you have that clear vision of the future and where you're trying to, the trajectory that you're putting yourself in, if you backtrack, then you start to say, okay, what kind of skills do I need to learn to get there? What kind of resources do I need to get to that point? And when you start to figure out what skills you need, now you can start to look for the right people to help you, right? And you don't always have to invest thousands of dollars. Sometimes you can find the information, you can just find the right person on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever, right? Sometimes you do invest. But the point is, if you know what skills that you need to proceed, then you're setting the trajectory for that. And what you focus on expands. So if you're focused on attaining these skills, you're going to find opportunities to do that. What's good, Blossom 369? Greetings, Trinity. So yeah, Mm-mm-mm. I for one am not a fan of wasting time. No, not anymore. There's way too much life to enjoy. There's way too many successes to have. Don't need to be wasting time. You don't have to. Not in this information age. Not in this information age. So yeah, get into it. Get into it. Like I said, March 30th. What's good, Matthew Watson? March 30th. We're back at it. Taught with Shooty. Join the YouTube membership if you have not already, so we can dive in deep into one of my favorite books of the year, if not my favorite book of the year. Not favorite because it was a sweet and flowery read, but because the meditation process in it has been so powerful to me. And the explanation in the book of the five elements. I've never seen a clearer explanation of the five elements. If you read this book already, you know what I'm talking about. If you're currently reading, then I hope that you are starting to see it. CLA says, I have so many questions. Thank you for the live stream. Ask away. That's what I do, literally. Blossom369 says, pushing and pulling together my mobile spa, waiting on my book. Can't wait to get it. Awesome, awesome. How many of y'all in the chat are entrepreneurs or are interested in having your own business? Just let me know briefly. I just want to see how many of y'all are in the audience. Yeah. So, I mean, I know mostly the stuff that I talk about and teach has to do with spirituality and the occult, but marketing and entrepreneurship has also been a big passion of mine. Um, Obviously, it goes hand in hand. A lot of the stuff that I talk about with psychology and neurolinguistic programming and the root social matrix and the mind control and all that stuff, that all ties in. A lot of that stuff that I stumbled across from studying marketing and studying advertising and all that stuff, I mean, it really ties in together. Jim Thorne says, I'm working on my business at the moment. Cool, cool. Zooman says, I was researching Kalindi E and taking 20 to 30 grams of shrooms. Definitely going to do it. Right on, bro. But be smart. If you've never done it before, don't do that. Start small and work your way up. Common sense. And also take it from somebody who's done it. You don't want that to be your first time. I count myself lucky for being able to recollect my sanity after such an experience. Awaken Grace says, I just have to narrow down what I want to do. I want to do so many things, lol. There's so many opportunities, but you got to pick one, Grace. You got to pick one. You know, uh, if if I can relate to you, then I know that sometimes it's hard to pick one because it's like you don't want to exclude anything, right? But one thing that's important is if you can get a small win, that only motivates you to try something new. Sometimes when you focus on one and get really good at it, you can take the skills that you learned from that one and transfer it to the other, right? What I'm currently learning now about business is they're not all different. There's really only two types of businesses, one involving your face in the front, one involving you being behind the scenes. But once you pick those two different branches, everything else is really the same. Everything else is really the same, especially if we're talking about internet business, right? It's really basic stuff. Really basic stuff. Right now, I'm testing out the business method that doesn't involve your face being in front. And really my goal is if I can start to figure out a method and a strategy to consistently replicate different types of businesses using the same framework, I think I might be onto something there. But I've seen it done, and I'm currently learning from somebody who has done this. Um, but yeah, pick one, Grace. Pick one. You don't have to marry it. It doesn't have to be your life thing. Just pick it, try it out. If it doesn't work, move on to the next. Yes. Boy says, I'm currently having my logo designed for my agency. Momentum is definitely going. Excellent. Excellent. But boy, what's more important than your logo is, do you know who your audience is? Do you know what your audience wants? Do you know how to get to your audience? That's way more important than a logo, right? Talk to your audience, talk to your customers. Make sure that you're providing them with a service that they want, right? What one of the mistakes was that I made in my early years of trying this shit out was trying to come up with something and then forcing people to buy it. Right. I've wasted so much, well, not wasted, but I spent so much money opening Shopify stores and Amazon, not doing the proper research. So get to know the market that you're trying to get into. Do you know who you're selling to? Like, do you know? And I don't mean like, oh, I have an idea. I want to sell to single moms who like to go camping. Like, talk to single moms who like to go camping. Get involved with them. See what kind of things that they're interested in, right? Do not go to the market with a product. Go to the market and talk to your people, then come up with a product. Don't come to the market with a product. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Nobody's ever told you that before. Trust me. I know that hurts because a lot of y'all get married to your ideas, right? I'm coaching some friends of mine, and it's kind of hard to break people out of that assumption. Oh, I'm gonna sell this. Well, how do you know anybody wants it? Do you know anybody that wants it? Right? How many of y'all have tried some of those marketing things where it's like you're an affiliate and you just blast your friends list and your family members, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, and eventually they stop talking to you because they know that you're going to spam them trying to sell them stuff. That sucks. I don't like that personally. You know, I honestly, I like to separate business from like friends and family and shit. If you notice on this YouTube, I really haven't been trying to sell anybody anything, and I've given out 3 years of free information, right? Thousands, well, not maybe 1,000, several hundreds of hours of information, right? Now, I'm not selling no damn readings and no, incense sticks and tarot card shit, because I like to keep my business somewhat separated from my passion, right? Because I don't want to feel like, oh, I got to do it for money. That kind of kills it for me. Now, granted, yeah, I got the membership here, but I mean, obviously, I spend a lot of time here, so I want to be compensated for my time. I still got to pay bills and shit like that, but I'm not out here trying to like hassle everybody for money. That's ridiculous. There's different ways to do it. There's so many different ways. You just have to really put in the necessary effort and research. But yeah, this is getting on a whole nother subject here. I'm supposed to be saving that for later. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Y'all asking about business and psychedelics, and I'm trying to talk about taking a break and drinking some water. Trinity says, I'm working on my spiritual business and a self publishing business. I'm excited, but I need to buckle down a little more. Okay. And that's an awesome observation. Do you know what buckle down a little more means? You said you need to buckle down a little bit more. What does that look like? What does buckling down entail for you? Right? What are you buckling down on? What kind of things are you needing to buckle down? Remember I talked about the vision and what necessary skills you need to get there. Between where you are now and your vision, what is that gap? What's missing? What do you need to get from here to there? When you say you need to buckle down, what exactly do you need to do? The more clarity you have on that question, the greater the likelihood that you're going to achieve it, right? So many times I've wanted to do something, and because I lacked clarity, I couldn't take action because I didn't know what to do. I wanted it, but I didn't know what steps to take, where to look, where to turn. I just kind of floated around, even making the mistake of asking people who've never done it. That's the opposite of getting a mentor, right? Asking like your friends and family how to run a business and they've never run a business. So they tell you some shit that they think. No, no, no. Don't waste your time. Godflow93 says, how many followers you think you need to be successful in an online entrepreneurship? It isn't even about followers, really. It's about serving. It's about finding a need. If you can find a need and fill it, you don't need more than 1,000 people. You don't need more than 500 people. You don't need more than 300 people. You don't need more than 200 people. Find a need and serve it. That's it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to come up with fidget spinners. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. This is why entrepreneurship starts within. What kind of obstacles have you overcome? What are you passionate about? What is something that you would do for free anyways? I love this occult shit. I love the spiritual shit. I love talking about self-improvement, helping people find confidence, helping people uh, craft their focus. I love that because these are things that I have spent many years struggling with, right? And I have found different methods that I wanted to get out of depression. I wanted to get out of alcoholism. I wanted to get out of being. So many people told me all through my life, "Oh, you've got so much potential, but you just don't reach it. You don't realize it. So much potential." That shit used to hurt because I didn't know how to maximize my potential. I didn't even know what the fuck that meant. But I would hear multiple adults tell me, "Oh, you've just got so much potential, but you're just wasting it." What does that mean? Right? So I spent many years trying to get out of depression, trying to maximize my potential, how to figure out how to make something of myself, how to be useful, how to be productive, how to be somebody, right? That's something that I love talking about, and it gives me an inner joy to help someone else come to that conclusion, because all of you have potential. All of you can do the things that you want to do. You wouldn't have the vision in your heart if you couldn't do it. You wouldn't have it in your heart if you couldn't do it. But we have these self-limiting beliefs. We have these patterns of doubt, right? We've got all these things inside of us that are stopping us. I've learned through different psychological techniques and studying psychology that most of us, when we have a problem, the solution seems impossible only because we don't have a map of how to get there. So I've learned that if I can help people
It's true.
personally find a map of how to get there, their solution is solved. Yeah. Life doesn't have to be hard. Life doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't. It doesn't. And all of us have suffered abuse. That seems to be a prerequisite of, you know, wanting to study spirituality for some reason. But you don't have to stay there. You don't have to. And a lot of our problems are rooted in our childhood, things that happened to us as a child. And a lot of us do have post traumatic stress disorder, whether it's from relationships or accidents or just different things that may have happened to us in our adult lives. But what I've come to find is like the childhood traumas, they seem to kind of supersede those big stresses. I want to get too personal, but America's a crazy place. Hmm. Yeah, so Godflow says, so it's best to design a product that reflects who you are, so that's why you have the insight of the buyer. I think that's in the right direction. Absolutely. He says, so center yourself in the service, then followers will naturally follow instead of over analyzing the status quo. So here's the thing. The majority of people don't understand business. The majority of people don't understand anything. They just assume and do wild shit. So you have an advantage by offering value up front. Most people are trying to sell shit and make a quick dollar right now. That's why when you go on Facebook, all these spiritualists have just popped up last week, and now they're giving tarot readings and all these different things like that, because they're trying to make a quick buck off of people on the internet. What separates you from them is someone who cares, someone who offers value up front, because that's why would I buy something from somebody I never heard of and I don't know what the hell they do, versus somebody who offers value up front, so I can kind of get a glimpse of who they are, what they can do, what they're capable of. You get a taste of what they've got going on. When you do that, you naturally do attract people. You do attract some people that just want freebies, yeah, but you attract people who actually do have the problem to the solution that you're trying to offer. So a lot can be said for giving more value than trying to take up front, right? Mystic Moon says you don't need millions of followers. A lot of brands don't want to work with large influencers because the ROI is too low, no engagement. Absolutely, right? And you really don't need that many people. You really don't. All you have to get is the right people. If you have a solution to offer someone and you connect with those people who need that solution, it's a win-win. These people get the help that they desire, and you get the profit off of what they want, right? They pay you for it. That's all that money is. All that money is a symbol of exchange. I exchange this money for something that I think is worth more than the money, right? So I saw this unicorn mug and I think it was like $17. That little $17 I had, this mug was worth more than that. So I happily exchanged that $17 for this mug. I happily paid that money for this mug, right? Because the mug to me is worth more than the money. So when you're able to provide a solution for someone, your solution is going to be worth more than that money that they're exchanging for it. So it starts with service. It doesn't start with what can I sell people? It starts with service. How can you help? If you listen to any of these entrepreneurs who are making big money, they don't talk about, oh, I tried to sell this to humanity. They sought solutions to humanity's problems. You're paid for your value, you're paid for the problems that you can solve, whether it's through a product or a service. So if you ask me, And from what I've learned, from what I've studied, it's best to start from a solution oriented standpoint. How can you help people? Because everybody's got problems, but which one of those problems can you help people with? And it does more than just them simply getting an answer. There's a lot of other things going on as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, once we go through the year a little bit more, depending on how interested people are, I'm really excited about online business and marketing because I don't know, maybe it's just the time that we're in, with the whole, what do you call it, quarantine or whatever. More people are at home, so more people are spending money online, and more people are coming up with businesses online. And anybody can really come up with a business idea, but the main thing that separates successful people from people who are not having success is how they go about doing it. Marketing is important. Connecting with your audience is important. And these things are not easily learned. So I don't know. I ask about how many entrepreneurs are in the audience because that potentially might be a direction that I move the content into. But I don't know. We'll see. I might have to like separately do something else so I can keep the two separate. But be sure that you guys are taking a break. If you're starting to feel worn out, take a break. It's okay. It's like working out at the gym. You can only handle so much before you have to take a break, recharge, and then push your limits a little bit more. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Greetings to everybody just now joining. Yes. So yeah, with all that being said, it's probably time for me to get back to my entrepreneurship studies. So yeah, just checking the chat here. All right, so yeah, we've been on this wave of focus and self-improvement and getting more done, getting more productivity, right? And I've been learning that a lot of people are having this issue with being overwhelmed. I'm learning that a lot of people are having this issue of feeling scattered and not feeling like they're able to apply what they're studying to their daily life. So I've been working with a few people to figure out what works for individuals to really help get people results. And I would like to work with a slightly larger group. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 15 to 20 people that I can really focus on like every day for probably about a month or so. And I'm putting together something. If you think that you might be one of those 15 or 20 people that want to work with me and getting your goals clarified, right? And coming up with a plan to getting these things accomplished, of coming up with a plan of study to where you don't feel disorganized and overwhelmed and like you're jumping randomly from book to book, to really have a system to structure your spiritual growth. Because that's the whole thing. We're doing this because we desire spiritual growth, right? But without a system, it's like being on that basketball court, just kind of just throwing the ball at the goal, not really knowing the different strategies and the different techniques and methodologies. With me, I know when I started this thing, it wasn't because, I wasn't trying to summon demons because I wanted to make a bunch of money. I wasn't summoning demons because I wanted this girl to like me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't summoning demons because I wanted people to look at me and think I'm so cool. No, deep down inside, I had a bigger purpose. I mean, I know it might sound lofty, but essentially, I wanted to become God of my reality. Now, what does that mean? To me, that means having a greater sphere of influence over everything in my life, right? Now, I understood realistically, it would have to be gradual. It would have to be gradual. What it looked like for me was being able to manifest what I wanted by my thoughts, manifest situations, manifest experiences, manifest anything that I wanted. It wasn't necessarily a fat bank account, not necessarily that, no, but to if there was something that I wanted, I could get it, right? To not have to go to a job that I hated every day. I wanted to manifest these things and make them become a reality for me. That was why, deep down inside, I really dug into this magic, right? Because I wanted to become that I was seeking. And through all the studies and all the books, I've learned that there's a quicker way to get there, right? When I say that I've been in this for 20 plus years, it's not that 20 plus years I was necessarily looking in the direction that I've been looking now. I'd say probably 15 of those years, I was kind of flopping around book to book, just studying and collecting a bunch of data. But what happened was that all that data kind of meshed together and built a powerful library for me to draw upon. But yeah, I've been able to see that I can use that same library to help other people get to where they're trying to go with their occult studies, right? Because we all want to have this ability of manifestation and a greater sense of control over our reality. And that is extremely possible on every level, whether it's financial, whether it's with your relationships, whether it's in your health, whether it's in your studies and just becoming a smarter, more capable person. It's entirely possible with the right system. So, I don't know. Probably next week, I'm gonna offer offer an opportunity to work with some people if you guys are interested in that. I've already helped a few people now. Hopefully, I'll be getting some testimonials from the success that I've been getting them. But yeah, I'm really excited to be helping some of you guys as well. Um, I can only work with a certain number because there's only so many people I can help and do the things that I want to do. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to taking a small group and getting very hands on, figuring out exactly what your obstacles are and helping you get past them, helping you to clearly define your vision of spiritual growth and then getting there, right? If it's a book that you're missing, I can point you in the right direction. If it's a technique that you need to practice, I can point you in the right direction. But more on that later. For now, stay consistent, keep the momentum, stay positive and confident. You can absolutely do it. You can absolutely do it. Stay confident, stay positive. All the data is out there. All the data is out there. I'm telling you. Ay, ay, ay. Godflow93 asks, Trav, what was the biggest key to your online success? I was going through your Instagram timeline and saw something happen from 2019 to 2020 that granted you a bigger success. Yes, I know exactly what that was. Um, there is a concept called the Dream 100, and utilizing that concept uh, worked wonders instantly. Dream 100, look it up. Shout out to Masterly Foolish. Um, but the biggest key to online success, I would say, is being honestly, I would say it being real, being transparent. You know what I'm saying? Being myself and not trying to be something. There is an added stress when you're trying to put up an image and you're trying to be something. There's an added stress in trying to keep that shit up. Um, by me really just I would say even being courageous and just being myself without a mask, it really helped to take away any potential stress of trying to keep up an image, which allowed me to just flow freely. And your vibe attracts your tribe. When you are yourself, you attract people who are like you. That's another thing you'll find. When you go out front, remember I said there's two types of businesses. There's a type where you're out front and there's a type where you're behind the scenes. If you're going to do the out front type, which is more like a brand and you are the brand, it's going to be best if you just be yourself. Don't try to be um, Gary Vaynerchuk or anybody. Be you. Be you. And you'll find that we're all symbols and representations of energy. When you are yourself, you are putting out a symbol of other people who are of that same vibration. All you guys who come to this channel are cut from the same cloth as me. That's why you come here over and over again because you're seeing yourself in me. And I'm talking to you because I'm talking to the part in me that's in you. What's good, Riley Dawson? What will the process for applying be? I'm setting that up. I know that there's a lot of people, so I really want to make it kind of, and I guess give people a fair warning because, like I said, I can only work with a small amount of people at a time. And really, for the first batch of people, I really want to try it out to see if this is actually something I want to do. You know, I really enjoy the book study groups. I think it's really cool to um, have a group of people focused on one subject and all of us just kind of pouring in our ideas and breaking this thing down. I love the mastermind concept, but to do this to help individuals go from this level to this level, I think would be awesome, especially if I could do it consistently and get people results consistently. I've already gotten results just, peripherally, just giving people tips and tricks and helping folks through the Instagram and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna set it up and make it fair. I want to say by next Sunday, I'll kind of open the doors or whatever. But I'm excited, and I really want to do this. I really want to get to know specific individuals, and maybe it's selfish, but I get a certain joy in helping people go from point A to point B. I've gotten pretty damn good at explaining things and helping people understand things. So I don't know. Maybe it's selfish, but I get a kick out of turning on the light bulb, so to speak. Um, let's see. What's good, Lamont H. Marina Joy, peace, peace. Goat Dale Crack, namaste. Godflow93 says, I notice when you are yourself, you attract your same age group and even ethnicity. That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. When you, and even when you're faking it, you still attract the same people, but it's better when you keep it real. I mean, and it just makes sense because you know your experience. And when I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the stream, we're very simple creatures. We all have shared experiences. We have shared fears, shared pain points. We go through the same stuff, especially if it's the same ethnicity, same age group, same race and gender and all that stuff. You go through a lot of the same situations. There's a lot of jokes that I make. There's a lot of stories that I tell, a lot of things that I say that are more relatable because a lot of you guys come from my same era. I check my analytics constantly. And the biggest group of people that come to my channel are my age group, right? Um, since I've been checking my stats for the past 3 years, it's always 75% male, 25% female, like right on the money. Hmm. Let's see. What's good, Philip Boone? Greetings, Quavo Cash. Peace, peace. The real David Goodlow. Peace, bro. Peace. Marina Joyce says, when beginning to pursue intentional manifestation with your thoughts, did you go through a period of getting through fear of your own thoughts and imagination? Now, see, I learned to get rid of that immediately. That was one of the first things that I had to get over, right? Fear of self. If you're and look, that's why I say you got to have a system. When you have your end goal clearly specified, those fears of what you might manifest go out the window because you know where you're going. You only have those fears because you're feeling uncertain and you don't know what the future holds. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're capable of. But when you push yourself to recognize your potential and to set up a vision for your future, you have a trajectory. You're not going to be spending time worried about your fears and your doubts and what negative things that you might manifest because you're focused on making a specific thing happen, right? Those fears and those doubts, that's a product of distraction and being overwhelmed and being scattered, right? When you're focused, you're not scattered. When you're focused, you're not overwhelmed. When you're focused, you don't have time to be worried about depression or to be worried about fear. I don't have time to sit here and worry about, oh no, this bad thing might happen. No, Look, when you're so focused, things can be going on around you that don't push you off track. I'd love to give examples, but I'm gonna wait till a bit later. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, Godflow93 says, "Wow, more males." And it's weird because it almost seems like through Instagram and even on YouTube, more females interact, but there's a bigger percentage of males. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's because I'm lovely. Who knows? Godflow93 says, "Does that mean dudes love summoning demons more than women?" Yes. Marina Joy says, "If so, what did you do to help block out such energy and better organize your thinking?" So, again, with what I said a bit previously, it's being very focused on the end result and the trajectory of the path that you're taking. Being focused on your goal has this inherent byproduct of ignoring fear and ignoring the distractions. Because when you wake up every day and you know what you have to do, when you wake up every day and you know, okay, this is good for me, this is not good for me, and you're able to choose correctly, is it useful, is it appropriate? When you're able to have these certain frameworks to work within, you don't allow fear to intercede. I don't allow fear to intercede. I don't have time to worry about Bill Gates and whatever else. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that because there's so much that I need to learn to develop the businesses that I'm working on, right? To develop the systems that I'm working on. Mm-mm-mm. Mystic Moon says, would love to get on the focus list, especially get some ideas on how to level up in marketing and using focus techniques. Hell yes. Hell yes. One of the lovely young ladies I'm working with right now, I'm helping her go from no experience in entrepreneurship to getting her business where she wants it. Um, I'm even surprising myself here, but yeah, yeah. This is fun times ahead. Fun times ahead. Fun times ahead. Let me tell you. Because entrepreneurship is not far away from the stuff we've been learning. It's not, because we're still dealing with the human mind. We're still dealing with the mind of the masses. Golden One says, I'm focused on my music career. No fear, no time, illusion. Absolutely. And in your focus on your music career, do your best to get educated on a pathway to get to where you want to go. And I'm saying this from experience. I spent a lot of years trying to make it big in music, but I was caught up in the illusion of needing to be put on, right? If you're going that route of needing to be put on, I don't recommend it. I don't, because you're not in control of your future at that point. You're begging someone else to be in control of your future. There are ways to make it independently, but you've got to educate yourself on how to do it. The information is out there, and it's going to take some time to study and learn, but you can absolutely do it on your own, and that's the best way to do it, because your future is in your hands if you do it that way. But if you try to get signed or try to get this person to put you on or whatever, you're at the mercy of those people, and you have to bargain. You have to make, what's the word, when you someone else has to determine what you whatever. It's better when you figure out your own path. Ooh. Godflow says, get the book Words That Change Minds by Shel Rose Charvet, How to Level Up Your Marketing Skills. That's one of my secret books. Hmm. Enduring Raven says, I saw your short clip video earlier about putting everything into my magic, and I want to say thanks because it was a kick in the butt and a nice reminder. Thank you. Yeah, I was actually taking that clip today and adding some making a little fancy video out of that. But yeah, when you focus and you put everything into what you're trying to learn, all that other stuff goes out the window. That was one of the ways that I got over depression and alcoholism myself, because I was so focused on getting good at this, right? I was so focused on figuring out how to make this whole power of manifestation and all that stuff, how to make that a reality. When you're focused on your goal, the failures and the shortcomings, they don't have time to manifest in your mind. I love it. I love it. Marina Joy says, understood. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Mr. Cheeto says, Golden One, I'm a music producer. Let's connect. I even mix and master. See, match made in heaven. You guys share your Instagrams. I'm going to get back into the music too, but not yet. I'm going to make some money first, because really, I don't even want to get big and famous. I just want to prove it to myself, because it was a childhood dream of mine. I always wanted to be this big rock star musician. But learning what I know about influence in the human mind and marketing and all that stuff, I'm going to make my music and I'm going to self promote just to see how far I can get. Just to put a little check mark off of my bucket list. But yeah, probably in another year or two, after I get some more of these businesses underway. That's the way to do it, man. Having passive businesses that generate money for you so that you can go off and do what you really want to do. There's nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. And there are ways to make passive income, but you got to put in the time to learn how to do it, preferably from someone who is already doing it. If you get yourself a coach of someone who's already doing it, you're going to learn so much faster than just winging it. But I'm here to tell you, it's an open world. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, drop shipping is dead and Amazon is dead or email lists are dead, or don't let anyone tell you any of that. These things will always work. They will always work. It's just you've got to figure out, you got to get in where you fit in. That's all. Don't fall for the FOMO, fear of missing out, because that's a marketing tactic. When people use that, it's meant to make you cause action. Now, yeah, sometimes deals go away, but what I'm talking about is these opportunities. The whole doggy coin and shit, that's yeah. I'm talking about lasting, tried and true. Right? Drop shipping has been a thing forever, right? If you've got a dollar store on your corner, they use the same technology basically. The dollar store is just an aggregate company that has enlisted somebody to, they make these products and they send it to them. It's the same process. You're just being a middleman. So drop shipping ain't dead. It's not gonna die. This is how business works. This is how Walmart works. This is how most of these businesses work, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Ad nauseum. What's up, Tree Marie? Long time no see. Jordan Gilliam says, just got accepted to the Facebook group. Appreciate it. That one group is better than my whole timeline. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Godflow says, me too, bro. Eventually I'm gonna have an album. Yeah, man. And I like the idea of creating art for the sake of art because it's fun, not because I'm trying to make money off of it. Something about, yeah, that just doesn't sit right with me. But yeah, look, I believe that you guys are going to get what you want because, you're learning from the best. But if you're here and you understand that there are spiritual principles to apply as well to the psychological principles, you're going to have more success than the rest of the world. Awareness is key. Society Ejects, greetings. I got your email, bro, and I will be talking to you soon. Absolutely. Tree Marie, where you been? Where you been? I miss you. Okay, so about to wrap it up here. Life is amazing. It's wonderful. There's so much opportunity. There's so much abundance. Hopefully, with this focus challenge, you're starting to gather a routine of getting some work done and pushing yourself past patterns of limitation, getting some small wins. right? Getting some confidence in your ability to do more than you thought that you could do. This helps and this adds, this compounds. You can apply this positive energy to future endeavors. All right. I'm going to be leaving here soon, but as a reminder, May the 30th is when we resume the book study group taught with Shooty. All right. So join the membership, become a part of this, get this book, read it, practice it. Let's talk about it. I love this book. I love what's in this book. I think you will too. I know you will. Right. And like I said, I'm going to be working with about 15 to 20 people here soon. Uh, one on one. We're going to get that spiritual growth. We're going to have it measurable so you know that you're spiritually growing. And it's not just a word. Oh, well, how do I know how to apply it to my life? What books do I read? What subject was it? All those questions are going to be figured out for you specifically, right? There's, you know, probably 1,000 people are going to watch this video. 1,500 people are going to watch this video. There's 11,000 people subscribed to my channel. It is impossible to come up with a plan that's a one size fits all. But hopefully, the more of these people that I work with one on one, I'll be able to start to see patterns of how to get a person from here to there. Right. And I've already done this with a handful of people. Now I'm stretching it out to work with 20. Maybe a little bit later we can go a bit bigger, but I'm very excited to step into this new phase. It's going to be happening right around the same time as we get into the Talk with Shooty. Um, but if nothing else, don't forget to take a break, right? Drink you some water. Don't feel guilty for taking a break. If you need to take a day or two or a week off, do it. But please get back into the swing of it. Don't take too long of a break. Don't kill your momentum. But if your body is saying, if your brain is saying, bleh, right, take a break. It'll be good for you. Do something non-magical, non-serious, play some Fortnite with me. Take a break. Get on top with Shooty. That's coming May 30th. Don't say I didn't remind you a million times. May 30th. May 30th. Talk with Shooty. Be easy. Be great. Love yourself. Clarify your goals. Clarify your goals, right? Get your 2 hours of studying. Get your 8 hours a week. Clarify your goals. When I say clarify your goals, I mean see yourself there. Feel it. Hear it. Taste it. Smell it. Touch it. Analyze what skills you might need to get there. Take a look on YouTube and Google for how to learn the skills that you need to get there. Whether you're trying to start a business, whether you're trying to make music, whether you're wanting to improve your body and your fitness, right? Anything that you're trying to do, anywhere that you're trying to go, analyze what skills you'll need. Realize that it's possible. It's very possible. Even if you just want to overcome trauma, if you want to overcome some of the things that are going on in your head that are holding you back, even if you want to just get out of this negative mind state of depression and pain and suffering, even if your goal is just to escape that, this still works. Visualize yourself in that happy place. Visualize yourself in a life where that stress and that struggle doesn't exist. Visualize yourself where you want to be, right? If you want to have a garden, if you want to have some animals, if you want to, wherever it is you want to be, visualize yourself there. Then take a step back a year before that. What has to happen? What has to be in place? Do you need to move locations? Do you need a different kind of job? What needs to be in place, right? Just backtrack it all the way until there. And what you'll find is your subconscious mind will automatically start scanning for different opportunities to make it a reality. So it starts with the vision. Starts with the vision, whether you're trying to make $1 million in 2 years or you're just trying to get out of depression. You're trying to get out of alcoholism. Start with the vision. Start with the vision. All right. Riley Dawson says, I've been pre-reading Talk with Shooty and it has been amazing. I'm happy for you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Keep going. I'm almost done with the audio books chapters, just in case anybody, I like doing the audio books. Helps me. I'll listen to it when I go to sleep. Yeah. Godflow93 says, I'm on page 33 with that book, wondering when the practices start. It'll come. It'll come. But she's got to give you the foundation first. It's one meditation in that whole book. But, just take your time. There, some people that have read it have been coming to me and saying that there's a certain part of the meditation that's very hard to imagine, very hard to visualize. And they're right. It was even hard for me to visualize. But keep at it. What I found is the more that I have been doing the Taught with Shruti exercise, the more that specific part has become more and more clear. She basically asks you to imagine something impossible. I like the challenge. But the more that you do this meditation, the more that it becomes clear to you. So trust her. It takes a while to get to the meditation because she's got to lay the foundation. She's going to ask you to visualize something impossible. But study the book. I don't want to give away too much because we're going to get into it with the book study. I'm very excited about this book. I'm trying to contain myself. Greetings, Gerald Sombright. Ay. Okay. Yeah, I gotta go. Mainly because I have to pee. All right, guys. Is there anything else? Is there any other way that I can help you before next week? Whatever you're reading, take a screenshot of it, post it in your Instagram story, and tag me in it so I can post it in my story. I want to see what you're reading. Yeah. Also, yeah. Read this book. Don't just have it sitting on your desk. Start reading it. You'll be better off if you finish it before the book study group. Trust me. You'll want to have tried the meditation first. I cannot stress this enough. All right, y'all. Life is good. Life is good. You don't realize how close you are to getting the things that you want. When you make the clear vision and you start working on a plan to get there, you'll find that you're so much more closer to it than you have imagined. It seems far away now because you don't have a plan to get there. But when you start constructing the plan, it gets so much closer. It gets so much closer. Trust me. Do the work. Read the books. Construct your vision. Delve into the 2 topics that you want to learn more about. Keep the momentum going. Take a break. Drink water. Read Taught with Shruti. And if you want some one-on-one, what do we call it? Intensive evolutionary spiritual practice with yours truly, be on the lookout for that because it's coming. It's coming hard all over the place. Well, not all over the place. All right, let me get out of here. Peace, everybody. Peace, everybody. I love this, man. This is a lot of fun for me. I really enjoy being able to talk with you guys. And I can't wait for the study group to come back. Yeah. Yeah. I love you guys. I mean it. I mean it. I mean it. I mean it. I don't know most of you, but I know that you're good people. I know that you're great people. I know that you want the best out of your life. You want to alleviate suffering and you want to magnify pleasure. I know. I want that shit too. And I'm happy to be able to serve you by helping however I can. Right? So be good to yourselves. Please be good to yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Wayne M. Peace, bro. Peace. I gotta go. These long ass goodbyes. But yeah, you guys are like, friends and family and all that stuff. All right, enough of that. Enough of those human emotions. It's time to go. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Peace.